Welcome to our new series, The 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
Before we reminisce more about the Blockbuster and the physical copy days, let's get to your first movie, because I think your text about this was pretty interesting, because you told me the movie you saw, and I think basically this is how we named our Saturday podcast. You know, you're like, I have thoughts.
Yeah.
So, tell me about your thoughts on this. I almost ruined the title. Tell me your thoughts about your first movie.
So you mentioned just a few minutes ago something about watching movies for fun, and how fun it is to watch movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead. So the movie that I saw is the movie The Substance. This movie got a lot of hype. It was recommended to me by a good friend of mine. He had actually said that when the movie was over, he stood up in the theater and started clapping. So that's intriguing, right? And I'd seen some stuff about it. I was like, okay, I'd heard that it was getting a lot of good buzz, and it eventually came out to HBO, and I decided to give it a shot. Now, I'm going to preface this before I talk about it. I am not into body horror. Okay? Do you understand what I mean by body horror? We talked about this.
We talked about this in this past podcast. Yeah, you asked me.
I am not into body horror. I'm not into it. It's not my thing. I don't enjoy watching body horror. It elicits a very visceral reaction to me, and I guess that ultimately that's, I guess, the point of a movie. Like, if a movie makes you feel a certain way against your control, then that's a success, right? But I didn't enjoy Terrifier. I've talked about Terrifier. I don't enjoy Terrifier. I don't know who these movies are for. I do, but I don't, like, really. I don't know who's asking for these, like, ridiculous displays of violence and everything like that. It's not for me. So the plot of The Substance, it revolves around. So Demi Moore plays the main character, and she's 50, and women, when they get older, our society, when they get older, they kind of devalue women, right? And so she's being fired from her TV show that's been long running, because they're going with, like, they want to hire a younger version. Okay. So she ends up getting into a car accident, and in the car, while she's at the doctor being checked out, a young nurse, like, when the doctor leaves, a young male nurse kind of gives her this, like, little flash drive, and says, "This changed my life." And then when she goes home and she's sad and she's thinking about her life, she plugs in this little, like, USB thing into her TV, and it's a commercial for this thing called The Substance, and about trying to recover, being young again and all this stuff, and all this. She thinks it's a scam. She throws it away, and then another thing occurs in her life, because obviously you see movies like this. Her life is going into the shitter, basically, and so she's left to, find out, okay, what's this substance all about? So she calls the number on there. She's given an address, and she shows up in, like, some back alley somewhere that you would never think there's, like, a lab there or anything like that. And she picks up, she's given a key card, and she goes into, like, a safety deposit box, like, in a random place, and she gets all her materials for the substance, and it comes with instructions and directions and everything like that. So what begins to follow is, we talk about movies setting up rules all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't feed the gremlins after midnight. Don't get them wet. Like, all these things. So you're an expert on movies. You can say that. Like, so Chad, I ask you.
Okay, go ahead. Ask away.
I ask you a question, right? When a movie has a set of rules that are explained explicitly to the audience and the main character, what do you think the next thing happens to those rules? Do you think the main character follows those rules, or do you think that there's option 2?
Well, I'm going to assume that you're talking about the character and not the director. So if that's the case, the character
Yeah,
always breaks the
right.
rules. I was going to say, when the
Correct.
director of the movie breaks the rules, I'm like, you just broken our trust. But yes, all the time, the character breaks the rules for one reason or another.
Yeah, you're set up, you're given instructions, you're saying, this is how the substance is going to work. You need to adhere to these rules, or there are going to be consequences, undefined consequences, right? So you've seen that kind of a movie all the time.
Correct.
The movie is done, it's directed extremely well. I don't want to say that there are parts that are over directed because I don't really understand what that term means, so I don't really feel comfortable like committing to it. I just think that there were scenes where I'm like, did it need to be that way? So the movie is like shot well, it's done well. It's just as the story unfolds and things get worse and worse, as you can imagine in this situation, right? Because there's always a catch, another movie thing. As things start to devolve and there starts to be like this kind of horrifying back and forth between herself and her younger self. I won't get into the details because it's pretty grotesque, but you know, the whole rule that they keep saying is that always remember that you are this person. This person is not against you. You are this person. You are the young person. You are the older person. You need to keep that in mind. And you need to switch every 7 days. You need to switch your bodies every 7 days without exception.
Okay.
So, as the rules continue to be broken, because it spirals in this thing of I've got to stay young because then the young version starts getting more opportunities, and then they it's inconvenient to switch, right? Hey, we need you to do this thing, blah blah. Well, I'm going to be away next week because they don't know that you're switching bodies, but you have to switch. So that tension is there, and then of course she makes a series of decisions that just make things go way off the fucking rails. Things get really fucking disgusting in this movie. So that's why I'm like, body horror is just not my thing because this movie is done really well. That's a problem because it looks really realistic when these disgusting things occur. And the way this movie fucking ends, like the last like 10 minutes is one of the most unhinged, disgusting, violent things that I have seen in a movie in a long time. It's fucking gross. Okay? And it is like, but at the same time, like cinematic as fuck. Really well done. Like great direction. If I thought it was probably a little bit stylistic at certain points, like I mentioned. Great direction, well done. The story makes sense. The themes make sense, but it is just, this is a brutal movie to have to sit through. And it does not go into a good place. It goes into bad places and then it ends in a crescendo of just disgusting shit. Literally? Maybe. Bodily fluids for sure though. And that's not my thing. Great movie. But very, very much like Eraserhead, like when I watched earlier this year, I love David Lynch. David Lynch is one of my favorite directors. Eraserhead, and I probably, if I go back and listen to that podcast, I'm probably having the same kind of reaction. Visceral reaction, disgusting. I understand that what I'm looking at is crafted by an artist, but I just like I cannot stand looking at disgusting shit like that. I can't do it. So I kind of had the same vibes of Eraserhead. Although Eraserhead was a little bit more terrifying, but I kind of had those same vibes where I knew I was watching something really good, but I would never want to watch this again, and I would never show it to anybody. I would recommend, if you are into body horror and you're okay with that and you could separate yourself from that. I feel like I connected a little bit too much to the movies that I watch, where if something like that is happening, like if a main character is like, jabbing something into their eyeball, like I feel that viscerally when I watch that. Like I feel like it's my eyeball that's being like the screwdriver is going into, right?
Yeah.
And so I can't, like, I'm way too sensitive to watch movies like this. But I also can objectively understand when I'm looking at a movie that is done very well. And that's what The Substance was.
Yeah, just listening to some parts, especially when you got to bodily fluids, it's grossing me out. I'm just thinking
Yeah,
the worst because that's the worst part. You're in your own head sometimes, and
you don't even fucking know.
I don't want to
Is what I
know.
want to
I
know.
don't
You
want to
don't
know.
even fucking know. You can't even imagine how this fucking movie, like where it goes and the disgusting shit that occurs. You can't even imagine it. You probably could if you're like, well, I've seen Terrifier. It's like, yeah, okay, you've seen some shit. But some shit happens here that is goddamn gross. And it happens because, I mean, the main character was warned, right?
Follow the rules.
Always warned. All the fucking rules, but then shit happens, right? In a screenplay, like, yeah, this is what was going on, and then but then this happened, and it changed. Like, right? It's like you've seen that video with Trey Parker and Matt Stone where they're talking about how they construct stories. It's like you construct a story and you're like, and then this happened, but then this happened. They were doing this, but then this fucking thing happened and it changed everything, and then now they have to deal with problems. And in that way, the substance was done. It was done great. Great movie. I would never watch it again.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But the question, Soto,
Yeah.
on your mind as we talked earlier,
Yeah.
trying to rank this because this is now your 91st movie as you inch your way to
Yeah.
the movie 100.
I'm
Where's this
inching.
disgusting movie that might have been done a little well? Something you ain't gonna watch again. Where are you putting
Yeah.
this on your list?
It's a top 20 movie.
Ooh,
For
okay,
sure.
whoa. I don't think I was expecting that, but okay.
It is because objectively I know this is a good movie. I just can't I'm too much of a bitch. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like I could not like I don't like this stuff. I don't. Call me old fashioned. You know what I mean? I'm an old fashioned kind of a guy. I just this kind of level of grotesque violence is not my thing. I can understand how violence can be art though when I watch a movie, and I can understand when it's well done. And so that's why, for me, I feel like 19 is I'm sorry, 18 is the place for this, like so right above Terrifier 2. And below Hell or High Water. I think that that's a good place where it's like this is a horrifying movie that I will never watch again, but so is Terrifier 2.
That is very much an interesting back to back. Right there. 18
Dude,
and
and if you asked me which one I would rather watch, I'd rather watch The Substance.
okay.
Terrifier 2 is just like it's like violence for violence sake. Where in The Substance, it was serving the story.